We are the anime reviewers. I'm Zach.
I'm Matt.
Today we are talking about episode 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. We just finished watching this. It's a great show. We're going to start with our first thoughts. I'll let you go.
Yeah, I was just really impressed, and it was just this episode was just the basic episode of like just establishing and rolling everything out of what the world's actually going to be like. For the other one, the last episode was about him getting his powers. This episode was introducing him to a new school and introducing like what seems to be all the major players and identifying who the curse is that was in the finger. Yeah, all those details were like it was just a lot of details, and there was some really fun action in it, and it was very funny, and yeah, it was just fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed the fact that it picks up right where the last one left off. Picks up with another really amazingly done action scene, which I figured out why I like it so much. It's because Sung-Woo Park, who's the director of this, is also the director for God of High School, which is, if you don't know, Tournament Arc the Anime, which is just, it's lovely fight scenes in that. But anyways, back to Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's definitely more plot heavy, or not plot heavy specifically, but more like story focused and world building than the first one was. And I like that. I like the fact that it's introducing him to Jujutsu Tech, which is the school that Fushiguro is from, and it's getting him introduced into that world instead of so he's got to leave like his normal high school life behind and go here. Like it was really enjoyable. So, what about memorable scenes for you?
Well, the first memorable scene is an obvious one, and it's right in the very beginning of it, where he has a really awesome fight with Satoru, and like it is just hysterical, and it's 10 seconds.
Yeah,
which is just really cool, and there's so much going on in that scene, and just the attitude of the characters. I love that kind of character of someone who's just far. It's like kind of reminds me of Kenichi, where these characters are such a higher level above the people that are like the main focus of the story, but they're actually seem like people you'd want to be taught by. That they're actually trying to help them grow, as opposed to I'm just not going to help you solve your problems, and you're going to do it yourself. And
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know about that. He's just like that kind of crazy. That's just really fun. And that's like his first introduction too. And he does remind my first thought was Neo.
Yeah. Especially with the way he reacts to, because the way it happens is Itadori, he asks Itadori if he can swap out with Sukuna, who's the curse that is possessing him. And they had Itadori can, and they have a brief fight scene, and just the way he reacts to everything is so quick, and it almost seems like he's moving before Sukuna is doing anything. Like he's reacting to what's about to come, not what's happening to him in that moment.
One of the little subtle things I liked, it was just in a little stray line of dialogue that Sukuna said. It was where he notices what he's doing when he's fighting him.
Yeah,
I really did enjoy that, and also seemed to establish that he doesn't really know that what's the main character's name? Itadori doesn't know what's happening when he's possessed by Sukuna. He can control whether he's in control or not, but he doesn't seem to be too aware of what exactly is happening.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I like, that they established a whole lot there without really spilling and just kind of spelling it out for you, making it.
Yeah, it's all very subtle things and in very. It's hidden behind clever dialogue. Once Itadori takes over, he's like, "Is everyone all right?" He lost 10 seconds of time and he has no idea what happened. And I do really enjoy that.
And then another memorable scene is when he's in when they have him in a prison cell, which is immediately after.
Yeah, it's immediately after.
Every scene in this episode was really memorable. this show is really good so far.
Oh yeah. There's I could talk about the whole thing if I wanted to. There's so much going on, but yeah, I do really enjoy the prison scene where they're because it's
Well, it's just a cell. It's a prison as a.
Or, yeah, sorry, not prison,
cell is
but-
probably a better choice.
yeah, it's more of a cell.
And I like how it's covered in what are those? Seals, which is really neat. And then he takes one of the fingers because he says we have one ourselves. And
They have 6.
they have 6 of them.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Jujutsu Tech has found 6.
Okay.
And there's a total of 20 fingers.
Yeah, 'cause he had 4 hands.
Yeah. That was really, like, I really enjoy that because they're explaining what's happened. So it's Satoru and Itadori, and Satoru is explaining what Itadori's situation is, and it basically boils down to, so we can either kill you now because you are possessed by Sukuna, or you have the Sukuna curse within you.
And it's the only way we can kill Sukuna.
Yeah, the only way to destroy the Sukuna curse is if if the host of it dies. Or the other option.
The curse is so powerful, and they demonstrate that by throwing one of the fingers into the wall, and it just caves in the seals.
Yeah. Or the other option is you can come to Jujutsu Tech and work with us to find the rest of the fingers, consume them, and then we kill you after that. So I really enjoy that because it's not like, oh, you die now or you work for us and live. It's you die now or you die later. Like, when do you want to die is really what it boils down to.
I also love how it establishes the stakes and how they're individual. It has the overall stakes that everyone's interested in.
Yeah.
And the individual stakes of those 2 characters, of like the one guy just wants to, who's like clearly probably one of the most powerful. I think he says he's the best.
He mentions he's the best. It's right now it's unclear if that's true, if that's not. No, he definitely has at least the confidence to say it.
Yeah, and how he handled Sukuna, at least the small amount that was in Itadori already. He handled him quite easily, and just that confidence is awesome. And then he just gives him the other finger after he agrees to it. Of course he agrees to it. This is why you have a show. Like, that's one thing. I'm glad they didn't try and make that too tense. Like, he sits at a window and ponders for days whether or not he's going to live or die. It's like, no. We know he's going to eat the finger. Let's just get on with it. Which I would have been fine with the other stuff. It would have made sense. But it's nice that this pacing is so good in the fact that it's fast.
See, for me, I wouldn't have been fine if they had him be melancholy for days thinking about it, because it just from what we know of Itadori's character so far,
impulsive.
it would go against everything that they've established so far.
That is a fair point.
He's impulsive. He's quick. He reacts to what's in front of him without really thinking ahead.
Yeah.
I'm
going to eat this finger because I'm about to be eaten.
Yeah, at least not in the grand scheme of things. The only time we really see him thinking ahead is after his grandfather is cremated, and it's him and Satoru, and they're talking about the more specifics of the deal he's making. That's really the only time we see him thinking ahead in any degree, is because he remembers about his grandfather's dying last words, which were "save who you can." And that's not even really thinking that far ahead. It's just my immediate situation is if I continue to eat these fingers and collect them, I can save people. And I love his comment because he's looking at his grandfather's picture, and he's like, this is going to be, I forget his exact wording, but he's like, those are really annoying last words.
Yeah.
Or those are going to be really difficult last words to follow, or something like that. And it goes to the fact that, he does think about his situation, he just doesn't overly think about it, which I enjoy.
And definitely the last most memorable scene to me was a little later on when he gets introduced to the principal. Who's awesome. He's got a curse that's a stuffed animal, and because they first introduced him, he's sewing these cute stuffed animal, and there's a bunch of cute ones, and then he's like, "All right, I'm going to test you," and he just turns one of them into a kind of a Friday, kind of remind me, at least look wise, but cooler and more interesting, of that Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah, the animated doll thing. Yeah.
You can tell I've never looked into that.
That was a really enjoyable scene. I also like what the test is about, what its purpose is.
And what he's saying to him.
The test has nothing to do with his skill set or what he knows. It's all about what is your motivation for doing this? Why do you want to come to Jujutsu Tech? Why do you want to be a sorcerer? Like, what's your purpose behind all of this? And I like that as the test versus let's see what you're capable of. Because a lot of series that do
in a way,
superpowered schools and stuff okay, what's your skill set? Let's see what you can do.
In a way, it was kind of that way though, because he had him fight. He was testing him under pressure. He had him getting attacked by this bear.
That is true.
That was just wailing on him until he finally still hit, asking questions that kind of helped draw clarity out, and then make him really think, like how he's going to think. He's also showing him what he's going to be dealing with if he joins.
Yeah.
Where he's like sitting there thinking about, like, oh my god, this thing, that what he just said struck, like, he says this great line to him, like, are you really doing this just for your grandfather?
Yeah.
That strikes him hard, and that was...
Yeah, because the initial question is why, like, why do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of the test, and he says it's because someone else told him to, and the principal's like, you fail, and sends his doll after him to, like, beat the crap out of him and says, I will keep attacking you until you give me an answer I like. Until you tell me what,
what's the truth of it?
What is the truth of...
What's in your soul or whatever.
And keeps, like, pointing out, because for a little while Itadori keeps responding with, I'm doing this because it was a family member's dying wish, or, things like that. And the principal's like, so you're still doing this because of someone else. You want to go face hell because someone else told you to. That's insane. And I like the fact that, like, it's not even the only time that Itadori's been told he's going to face hell. Because, like, even earlier in a brief when him and Satoru were talking, Satoru mentions, like,
in graphic detail.
Very
like, graphic.
What things that Satoru...
And then they show a pretty powerful image.
Yeah, they definitely do. And then, like, to Satoru, a good day is someone just gets mutilated by a curse. Like, that's a good night to Satoru. And there's other gruesome things that they, specify, which we won't be covering. But, and Satoru is basically like, you get to choose which hell you want to go through. Like, you can still give up now and we can execute you, or you can go through and potentially see all of these horrific things and see things that might potentially even drive you mad. Because Satoru even mentions it, like, I don't think he mentions anyone specifically, but he does kind of lead on to the fact that there are people who have done the sorcery thing and have been driven crazy by it because of the things that they've seen. And I like how the fact that the principal's also sort of, like, basically reiterating that standpoint of, you're about to walk into hell because someone else told you to. That's a joke. And then I love how he answers it. I love how he, like, when he finally comes to clarity about what his actual answer is and what his truth is, I love how he does it.
What really stuck out to me more was just the bear wailing on him. That I was just laughing so hard.
Oh, it's great with the bear, because the bear would, like, hit him and then, like, shake its butt in front of him, or,
And it had stitches right at the bottom of it that were pretty heavily implying something in a nice star pattern.
Yep. But I also really enjoy, like, how he comes, like, when he finally comes to the realization of the answer, because for him, in order to answer, he's got to stop getting wailed on the bear. So he goes and, like, puts the bear in, like, a chokehold.
And then he's giving his whole just epic speech.
Yeah,
basically cuddling. It looks like he's cuddling with a teddy bear.
I know.
It's so funny. It was so good. And you like, every word of it you were saying, you were paying attention to. That's another thing I liked, is the subtitling on that they had too. Like, there was little subtle things that they did, like when in the very beginning, I forgot to mention this, in that beginning scene, he asks him, first he asks him as a question, and then he asks him as a statement.
Yeah, as a directive.
Yeah, and so it changed from a question mark to a period. And I liked that, like, how these subtitles are very well done. Like, everything about this, the animation style, the music, the action, the characters, the world that they're in, the villain, and what's just like the main character, the protagonist is also the antagonist.
This is also the antagonist, which is very, very interesting.
Yes.
And I love the fact that, like, now that we know like the specifics of Sukuna and, like, what it means, like, the intro scene there's a lot of moments in it that make a lot more sense because they showed the intro in the first episode, and there's a lot of stuff you don't understand.
And characters you have not seen, not even by the second episode.
Yeah, even by the second episode, there's still characters you haven't seen, but there's certain like visual choices that they make. They make a lot more sense now that you know the deal with Sukuna.
And how it opens up with him on the subway train with flooded water, like what that really ultimately comes out. What I'm thinking it's meaning, and once you see this episode, it really makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, I also really like it's a brief scene, like when I forgot about this because it's before he meets the principal, but when Satoru and Itadori are walking to the school and they're discussing it, it turns out Sukuna can now also like create like mouths on Itadori's face or like his hand,
and then his hand comes through the hand.
Yeah, which is just really funny because like he's so like casual about this because his statement was, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. He occasionally pops out."
Yeah,
and it's just like, like why do you not have a real reaction?
Yeah, it's like something out of like the Evil Dead, to where like it's like this demon is talking all this crap, and rather than like this zany type thing, he's just like, oh, sorry about that, and then the whole time he's threatening to get like, he's threatening the teacher, Satoru. He's threatening to kill, like, you're the first one I'm gonna kill once I take over this boy.
And Satoru explains who Sukuna is. It turns out Sukuna is actually Ryomen Sukuna. They explain that he lived like 1,000 years ago. When
sorcerer was stop him, and he was able to come back from like live for a long time.
Yeah, he lived on as a curse. He was so powerful as a sorcerer. Like it turns out he was a human sorcerer.
Yeah, they mentioned he was a human.
But he's also referred to as an imaginary god or the king of curses.
Which that's how they close out. How he closes out the description. I think he says something along the lines like in other term, and the best way to put it are the other terms or something like that. He's the king of curses.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to find out what that specifically means. Like, I hope we get more information about Sukuna, more than just like these little bits. Like, I really hope that there's like the further on that this goes, like the more we can find out what exactly that title kind of means. Because like we're aware of the fact that like his fingers are such powerful curses that they can't be destroyed easily. But I'm a little curious as to like how do you get that level of power? Things like that. So I'm just kind of curious about it. Like, and I hope that they do stuff with it. I think that's it for memorable scenes.
Oh, were all your memorable scenes the same ones as mine? Besides the hand tug, even though I just didn't mention it myself.
Yeah, I mean, because after the principal, it's just him going to the dorm, and that's about it. Like, there's, like, the talking bits are great, like,
yeah,
and then
it turns out the next door neighbor for his dorm
is Fushiguro.
Yeah,
but that's more funny than exactly like stand out.
Well, and the only other slightly memorable thing was just at the very end of the episode, they tease there's a third student and they show a girl.
Yeah,
who you recognize from the intro.
Yeah. So final thoughts on the episode then.
It was fantastic. I look forward to keep watching it. I want to keep watching it. I almost didn't want to film this just so I can keep watching it. Because we're watching it as pretty much relatively as it's coming out, but we started a couple episodes behind, but we're almost caught up because there's only 4 episodes. It's the time of this filming.
Yeah.
So we're I may even want to do the 4th episode and just do the whole series as it comes out because that's how good this show is.
Oh, yeah. If that's what you want to do, I'm down for it.
All right.
Absolutely, I will do an episode review for this.
This
is such a fun show.
And here's us in episode 12. They ruined it!
But yeah, right now I definitely really enjoy it. I love the animation. I love, like, we've talked about it a dozen times already, but the animation is outstanding. The music direction is great. The characters are very fun. They're very enjoyable. They also feel very real in their own sense.
Yeah, and you can identify with all of them, but not like I always hate the need to have relatable characters. Like, people are, you gotta be able to relate to them. Like, I cannot relate to Superman, but Superman is awesome.
Exactly. Like, I can. There are aspects of each of those characters, like Fushiguro, Itadori, and Satoru. Like, there are certain bits of their personalities that I can relate with, but I don't feel like I can relate to them as a whole. And that's fine with me. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I really enjoy the fact that, like, there's bits of each character I can get invested in. Because now I actually care about each of these characters versus, some shows that have a massive cast. Like, we've mentioned Bleach before. Like, that has a massive cast. There are characters in that, like, if they disappeared, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen them in forever. Okay, whatever.
And even some of the main characters.
Yeah. But ultimately, like, we both really enjoy this. I personally, I highly recommend you keep watching it. I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. I'm just gonna keep watching the show and enjoying it very much, and it's just fantastic in every way. I'll say it again.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna head out and watch episode 3 because I want to go do that now.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Have a good one.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And hit that bell icon for notifications. Also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Links in the description down below.